When I was 15 years old, I spent a lot of my free time in the East Village, just wandering throughout that eclectic neighborhood by myself, wearing my oversized white t-shirt that said Phillies Blunts across it, these oversized baggy-ass light blue jeans, my white-on-white Air Force One knockoffs from Chinatown, looking like a homeless astronaut. And my parents were concerned about my were concerned not just about my poor fashion sense, but because I was spending so much time in a neighborhood I did not even live in. I grew up in the Bronx. It's an hour away. And Mom suggested I take a class at NYU to meet new people. And I took her suggestion. And one day, I walked into that NYU bookstore, and I picked up a brochure, and I signed up for an Introduction to Life Drawing class. That's right. Because when I was small, I loved to doodle in my notebook. And now I could take those useless childhood skills and learn how to draw baskets of fruits like apples and oranges. I remember my first day of class. I'm really excited with my overpriced sketch pad and charcoal pencils from Pearl Paint on Canal Street in Chinatown. There you go. When I walked in, I was in complete shock. The class was empty. And all I see is this wooden bar stool in the center of the room. And this bright fluorescent light is beaming down on it. I felt like I was in the horror movie Saw. And the movie is about victims being lured in these rooms and tortured. And honestly, I wasn't in the mood to play a game. Then a bunch of kids walk in, and they all look really cool, wearing NYU t-shirts and carrying their overpriced sketch pads and charcoal pencils from Pearl Paint on Canal Street in Chinatown. It was lit. And I blended in with everyone. Then the teacher walks in. She's this middle-aged white woman with jet black hair tied up in a ponytail, and she's wearing these dark frame Ray-Ban glasses, and she looks a bit frazzled. And she says, "I am so sorry I am late. There were problems on the train. The model is on her way. Please be patient. She's having problems on the train as well." And I was confused, and I stood up, and I was like, "What do you mean by model? I thought we were going to spend the entire class learning how to draw baskets of fruits like apples and oranges. I thought this was called an Introduction to Life Drawing." And she looks at me with this angry look on her face. And she says, "Excuse me? Baskets of fruits? Apples and oranges? Oh boy, you are in for a surprise." And everyone just bursted out in laughter. I was so embarrassed I turned beet red. The model walks in. She's beautiful. She's natural. She's probably in her early 20s. Milky white skin, curly brown hair, and she's wearing a royal blue summer dress with sea monkeys on it. And I see her walk up to the center of the room, and I can see that bright fluorescent light beaming down on her. She looks like an angel from the sky. And she lifts up that royal blue summer dress over her head. And I could see it slowly fall to the ground like a feather from the sky. And she is completely butt-ass naked. Yeah, there you go. And I'm like, whoa, she is really natural. And she sits down at that wooden bar stool, and she's facing me, and we both lock eyes. And then she spreads her legs wide open, and I just stared right at it. I never expected it to look like that. 15-year-old me never expected it to look like an overripe, half-unpitted peach. And then I feel a hand on my shoulder and a whisper in my ear, David, David, David. You should not just focus on her inner beauty, but her outer beauty as well. And I hear everyone giggling as they're sketching in their pads. And I look up, and a model is staring directly at me. She has a shocked look on her face. And all I want to do right now is curl up in a fetal position and die. Instead, I put my head down and I start doodling in my pad. Towards the end of the class, the teacher asked each one of us to come up to the front and share our drawing with everyone. She's like, David, why don't you start it off for us first? We are all really excited to find out what basket of fruits you drew for us today. And everyone just bursted out in laughter. I felt like I got shot in the chest. As I walk up to the center of the room, I feel the anxiety build up into my body. That feeling that you get when you're on a roller coaster and it slowly gets to the top and then just plummets straight down. And I prop up that sketch pad on that wooden bar stool. And it's this big, black, smudgy dot that encompasses the whole canvas of the pad. And everyone in the room has this blank look on their face, just like everyone in the audience tonight. And I take that deep breath, and I'm like, well, this is my interpretation of staring down the Grand Canyon. And now everyone has this confused and disgusted look on their face. The same expression my parents had when I looked like a homeless astronaut. Ironically, the teacher, on the other hand, had a look of wonder. And she's like, David, David, David. Brilliant. And everyone cheers and applauds, unsurprised and flattered, because although my drawing did not connect with everyone, just being myself and owning up to being this shy and naive 15-year-old kid did. And I ended up staying with the class. And each week, I learned to draw something different, other than apples, oranges, and overripe half-unpitted peaches. And just like art, our perception of different things are as subjective as a basket of fruit. And we start to learn about ourselves after each stroke. Thank you.
David who, everyone?